Good morning. Welcome to this visual podcast of Inner Neighborhood. We are sitting with John Faulkner, the airport director here of our airport here locally, right here in Great Falls, Montana. My partner in the agency, Janet Duffy. What we're doing today is John had done a presentation to the Business Advocacy Committee about Fly Local and how important it is with our population growth here for us to support our local airports. So Janet, I'm going to kind of turn it over to you.
See, you keep summarizing my questions. And the Business Advocacy Committee is part of the Great Falls Area Chamber of Commerce, just so everybody's on the same page. Yep. Thanks for having us today, John.
No, my pleasure.
I'm excited to hear the presentation.
I was very
scoop. And it is all about flying local, right?
Yep,
well,
absolutely.
I mean, that's one of the things that we're going to talk about. So why is it so important that people fly out of Great Falls rather than driving to Bozeman or Missoula or wherever they think that they're going to get a less expensive airfare?
Yeah, so I mean, the main reason it's important is we live in a community that's had roughly the same population since 1970. We're within 200 people in 1970, and so we've had very stable demand, about 500 passengers a day in all of that time, 50 years. Unfortunately, the plane has continued to evolve, and so now we went through a period where planes got very small, 36 seats. Some people might remember the old Fokker that used to serve here in Great Falls, or some of the ATRs. Puddle jumpers, bug smashers, all the things. But they were great.
First class was amazing in those planes, by the way.
But they were great for small towns.
Right.
And so now those planes are gone. And just last year, we saw the last of the 50-seat jets leave Great Falls. And now we're up to 76-seat jets. So you can imagine 500 divided by 76 means we can support less flights. And as the plane continues to evolve, it's gravitating towards an A319 737 size plane of 150 seats.
Right.
And that would mean likely we can only support one airline. Right. And so it's really important that we continue to patronize our local retail establishments, right? I mean, I always say the airport is the mall of travel. And so, like the mall, if we're not using it, we're going to lose it because our population has gotten so stable and the dollars that are flowing in are so stable that we're beginning to see things erode out of the community. And the airport's no exception. If we can't continue to support the same seat level, we're going to lose those seats. And so even in January, I was sharing, we had the busiest January ever at GTF. We bested the last time, which was 10 years ago, by 100 passengers. Very thin margin.
Hey, every little bit counts.
It is, but two of the flights were very, very empty, and so as the airlines look at that back in the office, they think, oh, we should pare back a flight. Well, that's when they take 76 seats out of the market every day. That's a huge, huge step down, and so that's the concern: is we've got to support what we have.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that you made a great point at the Business Advocacy Committee is that you had kind of the data where you take the day off, you spend the gas to drive to Bozeman, those type of things that maybe that what we view as a cheaper airline ticket is not so.
Yeah, and so that's one thing. When you think about their parking, for example, you can park in our Value Park for $25 a week.
Can we circle back so people understand how parking, where that revenue goes for the airport?
Right.
Sure. So that's a good point. We'll start at the beginning. So airports don't get any of the ticket price.
Okay.
The airlines get the full ticket price. We make our money primarily on parking, rental cars, rents, the Loves, for example, is on our property. And food sales, those kinds of things. So we need more activity. Want people in the building, want them parking, want them rental cars. That's where we make our money. And so, when the parking money is our largest revenue source and the rental cars are the second largest, we want more activity, want the lowest ticket prices that keep air service here. So we're on your side. We want low airfare. And so when you really look at what an out-of-town trip involves, You take AAA, for example, what they say an average cost per mile is for your car. It's not just gas. You're eating up an oil change, tires, mechanical repairs, everything else. It ends up being about $250 to drive that trip and back between gas and the wear and tear in your car. I stopped the other day. We were on the road. We stopped at I won't say what fast food, but it's one we don't have here, so we were really excited. It was $50 to feed a family of 4, and I was shocked.
I know, you're like,
And this was
isn't
lunch,
even healthy.
right?
Yeah, it was lunch.
it's supposed to be fast, inexpensive food.
And I thought, oh my gosh, but that's another great example.
Right.
My kids, a timer goes off every 3 hours like a turkey, and they're ready to eat.
Yeah.
And so when you take those long drives, you have to feed them on both sides of the drive. You're probably going to eat out. If there's bad weather and you get stuck in a hotel room,
Well, and even if there's not bad weather and you're tired,
Getting in 11:30 at night.
maybe you don't want to drive and risk that danger.
And we all know what weather is in Montana, and so there's unavoidable costs, which is the increase in parking, the road food, the wear and tear of your car. That's about $350 to go down to Bozeman and back. And then there's the other, potential for a hotel room. It quickly adds up, and you could be looking at $500 or $600 to take that out of town drive before you fly, and the inconvenience of having to drive 3 hours after your trip. And so, I'm not saying you should break the bank to fly out of Great Falls. We wouldn't ask that.
Right.
What we're saying is think of all the costs, think of your time. Is it worth it? And think of supporting local jobs. Here at the airport, there are 200 to 300 employees every day whose jobs depend on that. And the airport only has 15 people that are our employees. When you go through the airport, chances are you don't even interact with one of our employees. The people that load your bags, the people that are loading you onto the plane, those are all airline employees, and they're not at the high end of the salary scale. And so, those are people dependent on travel here in Great Falls. That's where they're getting their check. There's Holman Aviation that fuels them and de-ices them. They have 100 employees. There's a lot that goes into.
So when you frame it like that, all of a sudden it becomes a priority, right?
Right.
We
It's a major
talk about
employment
shop
center.
local. We talk about now fly local.
Yep. Absolutely.
So-
And those are the key reasons. Keep the economic impact here, and in the end, we want to grow. Our community wants to grow, and growing means, doing what we can to support what we have and move it forward. And so that's why it's important.
So what do you think with our population base not growing, what can we do to kind of increase our tourism or that type of thing to get some of the airport traffic up?
Well, flying local is a part of that, right? Because we got to send things in and we got to send them out. So, if you're flying out, that means you're supporting a flight that's going to bring somebody back in.
Correct.
And so, that's one thing. Number two is, talk to your family and friends. Get out there on your social media and post the amazing things in our area. Okay. The airport operates a website called genuinemontana.com that advertises. We advertise it in the major cities where we have direct service. Okay. And that really advertises everything from Glacier down to Yellowstone as our travel region. And so, when you're out on these things, post it, talk to your friends, invite people out. More people are going to see our community, and they're going to realize what an amazing place we live, and that's going to draw more people in. And so It's really important that we stay positive on our community. I've lived in a lot of communities, having traveled around in the airport industry, and I can tell you it's always hard to be positive about your community, no matter which one it is. It always has its warts, right? But we have a great place to live, and we should really treat it that way on social media and other things, and get people to come back.
Absolutely. So, and that's changing our mindset, right?
It is.
To talk about what's great and awesome instead of maybe what we're missing.
Absolutely.
And I don't really ever care if we get a Red Lobster here. I just want to tell you that right now.
Exactly. There's some investors out there that may want that.
That's a struggle that we've had for many, many years. So I think that that's the message. Fly local, shop local, love where we live, and talk about how much we love it so that we get other people to come.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for supporting the Great Falls International Airport Fly Local.